Guys, we're friends, right? Well, the sign of a true friend is when they discover something good, they share it with you. And that's what I'm gonna do today. This is Loretta's British Ginger Tea. It is amazing. It's got 100% ginger, cinnamon, elderberry, and Manuka honey. Gotta admit, don't know what Manuka honey is, not even sure what it does for you, but it just sounds healthy, so I need some. This tea is fantastic for boosting your immune system, helps you feel good, and you'll live out loud like our beautiful British friend Loretta Nakwacha. Please hit her up on Instagram, order some of this tea, and she is at farmers markets and pop-up shops everywhere. You gotta get some of this stuff. Not only is it good for you, but it tastes great. Loretta's British Ginger Tea. I got some, you need it too. Go and order now.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're watching Rude Rangers TV.
You're listening to Rudy Radio, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I'm Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema organization, and this is Talk with Terra, a show that highlights fantastic filmmakers, artists, and entertainers from all walks of life. We're committed to introducing you to individuals, organizations, and projects of which you're not necessarily aware, and we do this with the intention of uplifting, empowering, and enlightening you. We are in for a humongous treat, as this is the special African American Women in Cinema Festival edition. And today I have several participants who are participating in the upcoming 22nd annual African American Women in Cinema Film Festival. And right now you're about to listen to a very powerful woman who is just absolutely amazing. My buddy, everybody. This is my buddy, Miss Marsha Taylor. How are you, Marsha?
I'm just wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here, Terra, today. I am very excited and I'm doing great. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Marsha, I tell you, you just do amazing things. I always admire your creative talent that you have, very innovative. I mean, just inspiring. So can you please tell the audience what you do and how did you get started?
Well, thank you so much. I take that as a very high compliment coming from you, a woman who I also admire and respect for all that you do. I have a very long and storied history in the business, and I do quite a few things. I've been very fortunate to kind of touch on all of the things that I found interesting, and I guess that it ties in with the name of my company, which is Hidden Agenda. And I got that name many years ago when I worked at a record label, and I was kind of getting my feet wet in the music industry. And I recognized that most people were in positions that they really didn't want to be in, but it was a means to an end. It was a way to kind of get their foot in the door. So you had a receptionist who really wanted to be a singer. You had a mailroom guy who really wanted to be a producer, and everyone was looking kind of to get in where they fit in. And so I realized everybody had a hidden agenda. And I guess, that it just stuck with me, and that became the name of my company, because I realized that I also had a lot of agendas of my own. And so I've made it kind of my life's purpose that anything that I want to do, I'm going to give it a try. Any area that I want to branch out in, I'm going to give it a try. And, if it works, that's great. If not, I won't have any regrets. And as such, Hidden Agenda started out as an administrative assistance company. I worked with several executives, producers and recording engineers and recording artists in the music industry. That's how I started. I did their travel arrangements. I booked their studio sessions. I did invoices. anything administrative, that was me. I branched out from that and I began doing some tastemaker events in New York at the time, some networking events and inviting different celebrities and DJs. And so I did that for a while. Then I wanted to do media coaching, and that's actually how you and I met, Terra.
Yes.
I designed a course of my own and started meeting with clients and people who were uncomfortable speaking in public, and got them more comfortable in that setting and giving tips and techniques and pointers. And so that was kind of what I did for a while, the media coaching, the administrative assistance, and the tastemaker events. Fast forward a few years later, I realized that I wanted to get more into events, but I didn't just want to do any events, and I didn't want to be an event planner. I didn't want to do weddings or birthday parties. I wanted to do like spectacular big events. And I came up with an idea back in maybe 2017, or maybe a few years before that, to do an award show. I created the LOL Comedy Honors Award Show, and it became a huge success. It is one of the only award shows that exclusively honors comedians. So I was very fortunate to get a lot of support from the comedy world, and it turned out well. And I realized I definitely have a passion for coming up with an idea, seeing it happen from beginning to end, building it up and watching it flourish. So here I am. I'm an event producer now.
Yes, you are. Wow. And I had the very fortunate to attend the LOL honors. And yes, it was amazing to see all of the comedic greats there and to see them get an award, some of which very first time, and being in the industry for a long time, just have not ever received any recognition. And so big kudos to you for executing that calling and making sure it came to life. So
yeah, I was really surprised, as you said, that there were so many people in the comedy world who had never really been recognized. And, we consider them legends and icons. And, the idea came to me because I had actually gone to a comedy show with a friend of mine. And, we left the show and we're talking about it. And I'm like, oh, that guy is so funny. He deserves an award. And boom, it just in my mind, I thought, is there an award show for comedians? I mean, we see different award shows and comedians are kind of sprinkled in there. It's like, well, best comedy series or best actress. But then, that's like one award or two awards out of, the 50 that are given that night. But there was no award show for, just for comedians. And I couldn't believe it. I went home, I Googled it. I'm trying to find out, and I didn't see anything. So I discovered there was a lane there. And although I had no background in comedy, I did not even know a comedian. I didn't know one personally. I just said, I'm going to do this. And I think, people were so happy to finally have someone recognize them for their work and for their craft, that I did receive a great amount of support. And that's why, as you said, when you came that night, you were able to see a room full of people such as Paul Mooney and George Wallace and Marsha Warfield, who paved the way for so many who were also in attendance, like D.L. Hughley and the Queens of Comedy and Lunel. And then we even recognized the new genre of comedy, like the social media comics. And it was just a wonderful night, and they were very appreciative. And it became like a real passion for me to do that.
That is awesome. I tell you, that is awesome. And you felt the energy in the room. You felt the appreciation. You felt like this was history in the making on a whole nother level. And so I salute you, Miss Marsha, for doing that. Yes, absolutely.
You never really know when you start something, a project like that, what it means to other people to be recognized. You go into it, and when you're a creative type, you go into things sometimes because it's just what you do. You like I said, you like to see it from the beginning to the end. It's something great. You're thinking of it as a big show. And as you begin to interact with people and you speak to them and you get to know them throughout that process, you realize that it means a lot to them and a lot to their families. And when I started hearing stories about, I've never gotten an award before, I was just blown away. And so it became more than just doing an award show. It became more than just putting together an event. It became something that I felt like needed to be done, and that because it meant so much to so many people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that segue into the upcoming film festival, because you have an amazing keynote panel. Do you want to talk about that? Share with the audience?
Yes. So I am very pleased to say that, the women who participated in the panel were three incredibly talented, amazing women in the comedy world. And along my journey of doing the LOL Comedy Honors, I began to recognize that, the comedians, many of them, they did more than just tell jokes. You had a lot of them who were actors and actresses, writers, directors, producers, had been in Broadway plays and off-Broadway plays, had toured the world. And that, as I said, that was not my lane. I just kind of, that was a gift that was given to me. I have a music industry background, so I really didn't know a lot about what the comedians did outside of telling jokes on stage. And so when you were gracious enough to ask me to host the panel about women of color in comedy, from the stage to the screen, I was more than happy to call on a few of the women, that I'd met, and ask them to come on and talk about their careers and their journeys and how they were able to leverage just telling jokes on stage into other avenues. And so we had the lovely Miss Coco Brown, who, people recognize her from many of the Tyler Perry movies. She's currently on the show 911. She's on the new show that's come out on Stars now, BMF, and just a host of other things. We have Nikki Sunshine, a comedian here in New York, who she and her husband, Jamie, just opened up a comedy club in Harlem, one of the few Black-owned comedy clubs in the nation. I think yesterday they pointed out might only be 8 or 9.
Wow.
Clubs. Nikki also wrote, produced, and performed her own one-woman special. And then we rounded out the panel with Miss Alicia Cooper, who's also a stand-up comedian, who segued into writing, producing, directing some of her own short films, which now she's scripting for feature films. And so it was really enlightening to listen to how they, were able to make bigger jumps in their careers and the challenges they've met and what inspired them. And I was blown away. I'm sometimes, even when I'm home now, when I watch TV and I see Coco or I see some of the ladies and I'm like, oh, okay. And I probably would have never even noticed that before. But of course, now I'm looking at everything through a different lens. But the panel was amazing. These women, they really, they were very inspiring.
That is truly awesome. And, what I love about the women that you selected to participate, they really brought it on. I had a sneak peek, audience. They really brought it on. They were honest. They were just rare insight. A lot of times in the land of make-believe, you just don't get, the real deal as it relates to what people are dealing with in their careers and how they felt and, what they saw and experienced. And so I love the folks, the women, the powerful women that you had on the show. They brought it on. So you all are in for a treat for the upcoming 22nd annual African American Women in Cinema Film Festival, which is going to be taking place online this year. So it's a virtual one. And with that note, we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Talk with Terra, presented by African American Women in Cinema, right here on Rudy Radio.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS and the Make the Grade Foundation for Education. You're listening to Rudy Radio.
we're having a conversation with African American filmmakers. Join the African American Women in Cinema Filmmaker Series at the Clubhouse, presented by I Am the Color of Beautiful Global, every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. AAWIC on Clubhouse. Join us on the Clubhouse app for this inspiring conversation. Hosted by Karen Moore, founder of I Am the Color of Beautiful Global. Join us this Monday at 6 p.m. on the Clubhouse app for African American Women in Cinema's Filmmaker Series.
I'm Hario Confetti, international Formula One driver. I sped to get to Long Island Telecom before they closed. I need to get one of these fantastic deals that Long Island Telecom has, because you can't beat the price anywhere else. Oh, get away from that car. What are you doing? Freaking kids playing with the car out there. Anyway, I'm glad I got here. Wait, what do you mean you're closing? I got to come back tomorrow? What's your number? 631-833-9679? Oh, stop writing me a ticket.
Hey, this is Jewel Taker from the Jewel Taker Show on Impact Network. Also, you can watch me and my family on The Tankers on Prime Amazon, or watch me and my sister's Chatter Talk show on Fox. So me and my girls, Dr. Dee Freeman, Monique Eilert Mosley, Real Talk Kim, and Holly Carter, and you're watching Rudy Radio.
Welcome back to Talk with Terra. I'm Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema, and today we are talking with fabulous Marsha Taylor, founder of the LOL Honors. Rocking it. And her organization is participating in the upcoming 22nd Annual African American Women in Cinema Film Festival. She brought an amazing keynote panel. You all are in for a treat come next month. And so, Marsha, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience, just in terms of those who may be following in the footsteps of wanting to create something that they see a need of? And they may be a little afraid because they don't have the resources, they don't really have the support. What would you say to someone like that?
I would absolutely advise people to go with your gut, lots of prayer. It is a scary journey when you don't know what's on the other side. But if you never take a chance, you'll never find out. So like with a lot of the women who were on the panel yesterday, they just kind of put one foot in front of the other. There were times when they got on that stage, they didn't know if a joke was going to hit. They didn't know, you'll hear when your audience listens in to the panel, some of them had an off night, a bad night, but you keep going and you keep persevering. And when you do that, you find that the path continues to get a little longer. It opens up for you. There's always another way. And so I am a firm believer of not living with regrets. Give it a chance, give it a try, and know that you will meet success. You will meet it. Preparation and opportunity equals success.
Wow, so well said. Hear that, audience? All right, take that. That is a diamond. So take that diamond. That's tangible. Thank you, Miss Marsha. Miss Marsha, how can the audience follow you and like you, and where can they find you on social media?
I am pretty much under my name, Miss Marsha Taylor. They can also look at the site either at www.lolcomedyyhonors.com. And for my parent company, it is www.keynote.com. hiddenagenda.nyc. Yes, I do have an NYC website. I'm a New York girl. Yes, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook and Twitter, and all of those LOL Comedy Honors or Hidden Agenda or Miss Marsha Taylor. You can find me under any of those. So looking forward to getting a few new friends.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything that you want to share, what you have in the works?
Well, I'm actually preparing for the next LOL Comedy Honors, which I'm looking to do in Atlanta in 2022. And so I'm looking at a few venues there now and just proceeding, with caution. Right now, we are still dealing with the paradigm shift in every way because of the pandemic, but I am looking to do that and taking a few notes from my friend, Miss Terra Renee, and her 22 years of doing her film festival. Yeah, that's kind of on my radar right now. And I have a few other things up my sleeve, and I'm going to hold those for now. But yeah, look out for the LOL Comedy Honors.
All right. Well, Miss Marsha, we thank you so much for joining us today and really appreciate your participation in the upcoming film festival. I know the audience can't wait to see your segment in it. And we will like and follow you and certainly support and look forward to your next program. So thank you, Miss Marsha, for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm Dan O'Shea, Executive Director for Maureen's Haven Homeless Outreach. It is our mission to support the homeless in our community. We provide an emergency winter shelter program, a day center, and support services to help the homeless in our community. With your help, we can continue to provide services so critically needed to the homeless in our community. Please visit www.maureen'shaven.org or call us at 631-727-683.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to Rudy Radio.
Welcome back. You're listening to Rudy Radio, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I'm Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema Organization. And audience, I told you, you are in for a fab treat today because this is our special 22nd annual African American Women in Cinema Film Festival episode where we are featuring dynamic participants of this year film festival, virtual film festival. So you're about to hear a fabulous talent. I was just floored when I saw her in a hit TV show called Genius. Aretha Franklin was 8 episodes, and I was glued to every single episode. And I am just in awe that we have the talented Miss Tina Fierce, who portrayed Miss Clara Ward on the series. Hello, Tina.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. What an intro.
How you doing?
I am doing well. I really can't complain. Just thankful for a new day, new opportunities, and an opportunity to share with you and your listeners.
Oh, that is wonderful. Well, audience, I want to just give you some insight. I know you're going to see it when we have the festival next month, but Miss Tina is actually one of the festival, our honoree. She is the 22nd annual African American Women in Cinema Film Festival Trailblazer because truly she's blazing the trail. I don't care what anybody says. She's tearing that trail apart. So we are super excited that she is definitely one of our honorees this year that you all would get to see. So Miss Tina, we have to immediately talk about the show, because I'm not over it. I'm still into it. So you're going to have to just shed some more light and just really continue to enthrall me. And I know you will enthrall the audience. So how did that role come about?
Yeah, I am an actor. You know, I'm someone who has a background in theater, specifically musical theater, and really probably about maybe 6 years ago started transitioning into more television and film. And let's just say, for people who don't know, especially being in the Southeast, there's a challenge trying to break in. And as I get into this story, you'll understand why I chose the word break in. So I've been auditioning. I've been blessed to do a lot of commercials for major brands and do some TV stuff, but never really anything in this capacity. So I received an audition from my Southeast agents, and I saw the breakdown for Clara Ward. I'm a very faith-forward person, so I knew a little bit about Miss Ward, but anytime I'm presented with an opportunity to tell the story of someone who lived in real life that's not a character, I like to do my due diligence and research. And so as I began to research and watch her videos on YouTube, really in my heart, I felt like this was my part. Now, as an actor, you always try to find a way to make it be your part. You know, that's how you connect with it. That's how you begin to embody the character, do the character development. But really, there was something about my spirit that just connected with, like, I believe I can do this justice. And so I sent an audition tape. This was towards the end of 2019. And, you know, not even knowing what was going to be coming in 2020. It was the end of the year. I had booked some other things, but nothing in this space. And so I really just decided I'm going to go for it. So in my audition, Clara, the scene that you guys saw it when we were outside the bus after the performance. The scene was Courtney B. Vance, of course, who played C.L. Franklin, who did an amazing job.
Yes, she did.
Wasn't he phenomenal, Mr. Courtney?
Oh my God, he was rocked that role.
He was everything. So the audition was CL's role, and then Little Aretha, played by Cheyenne Jordan. So I actually, in my audition, had my husband read for CL, and I had my son read for Little Aretha, which is something I normally would not do. It's not something that they encourage. They don't normally want you to read with one other person. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to put my own twist on it. You know, I want them to be able to hear the dynamic and the difference in how I am interacting with this male character, and then how I am modifying and adjusting to how I'm going to interact with this child. So my family read for me. We sent the tape in. My sister taped because my husband and son were reading, and we sent the tape off and didn't hear anything for a very long time. I mean, because we taped at the end of December. And let me go back a little bit, because I think the listeners will appreciate this. So when we sent the audition in, we know Clara Ward is a gospel singer. They didn't have us sing. So I sent my audition tapes in, and the next day my agent said, hey, send in something of you singing, because the character sings. In my mind, I'm like, of course she sings. Luckily, I'm also a singer. So I sent in an audition tape for another project that I didn't get, that I just had on file, because I didn't want there to be any delay in them getting all of my stuff. So I sent that in. We didn't hear anything. We're going into now Christmas. We're going into now New Year's. I'm like, okay, I guess I didn't get the part. And right around the middle of January, my agent sent me a text message and said I had been pinned, which was not a hold or necessarily a booking. It just says, we're considering you. And then maybe a week later, they told me I booked the part. And I was just excited, overwhelmed. And, you know, it was crazy, because I also auditioned for Respect, the other Aretha Franklin. Yes, I auditioned the week before I got the invite to audition for Genius. I was also invited to audition for the Respect movie. I went in, I sang for them, didn't hear, but I really believe that it was divine and ordained for me to be a part of the project that I was. But I think it also kind of lends to my skill set and my type that I was kind of being considered for both projects. So that is that was what the process looked like to audition for and land the role of Miss Clara Ward.
Wow, that is a powerful, powerful and inspiring story. So thank you for sharing that with the audience.
Yeah.
I mean, so now, here's another question I want to ask you as it relates to the show, because the pandemic, we're still in it, unfortunately, but were you all shooting? There was like a height of it.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that part? What happened?
Yeah, we were shooting episode, I was in a couple of the episodes, but the episode 2 that I was in, we were maybe 4 or 5 days into shooting that, but not consecutive days, right? Mm-hmm. So it was maybe my 4th or 5th shoot day. And I actually came back, and the day that I was shooting was the day the production shut down. I guess that was like March 12th or whatever that doomsday was. So like I started shooting in January, I shot some in February, and then I came back in March once they bumped her to recurring on the series. And we literally, the director, she didn't end up finishing that episode. I think she was like coming, it was like happening everywhere, because I remember Mr. Courtney was sitting next to me after we shot the stuff in the church, and he was showing me his cell phone. And I think it was like maybe when Tom Hanks and his wife, like really in the very, very beginning of COVID, like certain celebrities were kind of getting in, they were isolated. So it shut us down, and we did not come back until October of 2020 to finish it.
Wow.
And it was a completely different setup, because before COVID broke out, we had hundreds of people filling up the churches and hundreds of extras, and we weren't all socially distanced. And so when we came back, of course, that was in October. We were like, Georgia opened up, and we were some of the first people to get back to work. So a lot of what would have been wider shots during the Amazing Grace scene was post.
Yes.
Everything was really tight. It was tighter on the family, tighter on Aretha and the choir, versus, maybe if you look at the Respect movie, those were really wide shots because that was pre-pandemic. So they couldn't bring in 400 or 500 extras to fill up this church. But I think they did a really amazing job of capturing it and it not being so noticeable, where people were like, oh, this must be, we're missing people. But it was a challenge. We were isolated to our trailers a lot. We were on testing cycles. That's something that we're seeing a lot of, at least then. Now it's changed. Now you have to be vaccinated. But before, the studios and the networks were paying for testing cycles. They were paying to have the team set up there on site while you were shooting. And then they were also compensating the talent, the extras, what have you, to be on those weekly testing cycles. So yeah, it was a challenge, but we are resilient people, especially those of us that are creatives. We figure out unique ways to tell the story and to get the job done. So I really think the team at Nat Geo, Fox, Disney, I think everybody did a really good job of kind of pushing through to get that product out, and even releasing in the middle of a pandemic. They did drive-through screenings. Did drive-through screenings where we would be used to like a red carpet or what have you, and they did them in different cities. So I think they did a great job.
Wow, that is, woo! Let me tell you, that is super, super amazing. Super amazing. You started out at the beginning just sharing a little bit about what drew you into media. Did you want to shed a little bit more light into that?
Yeah, I was drawn to media just because of seeing the images of, people like Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, and growing up watching A Different World and loving movies like The Color Purple, and loving how Oprah was this media personality, but also an actor and a mogul, and then my own family. I come from a creative family as well. So I just have always known as a little girl that I had something really unique about who I was. The things that I had were not just for me and my baby dolls in my room. Like I always felt like it was something that needed to be magnified on a larger scale. And, through ups and downs, life challenges, I talked about breaking through or breaking in, being fast forwarding to life now, being someone in the Southeast. It's uncommon for us to break through and land a role like Genius. Being an artist from Atlanta, because typically, those opportunities go to known talent, they go to familiar faces, and they go to people on the West Coast, So I always knew I wanted to be a part of the conversation of media and the arts, because I saw so many examples of greatness and people who look like me. And I wanted to create that type of experience and legacy for those that came after me as well.
Well, that is truly wonderful. Well, we'll be right back after these messages. You're listening to Talk with Terra, powered by African American Women in Cinema, right here on Rudy Radio.
Hi, I'm Dan O'Shea, Executive Director for Maureen's Haven Homeless Outreach. It is our mission to support the homeless in our community. We provide an emergency winter shelter program, a day center, and support services to help the homeless in our community. With your help, we can continue to provide services so critically needed to the homeless in our community. Please visit www.maureen'shaven.org or call us at 631-727-6831.
You're listening to Rudy Radio, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I'm Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema organization, and we are talking with the fabulous Tina Fierce. Yes, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Miss Tina, so you have a production company. Please tell us about that.
Yeah, I own a company called Stage Ready LLC. I started Stage Ready probably about 14 years ago. And it was created out of necessity. You know, I knew that I never wanted to be a starving artist. I knew that on top of being a talented singer, dancer, actor, that I also had the gift of administration and the knack to negotiate. And at the time, this is probably right around before Atlanta, it was kind of emerging as what we know Atlanta to be today. So it was more music centered, more music and dance, less film and television. Like this was before the big tax credit. And I saw this need to provide this kind of old Motown model of that one-stop shop where singer dancers would come and they would get artist development and they would get styling and makeup and so on and so forth. So there was a need for that. And as an entrepreneur, you know, you always have to be able to solve a problem. Your business has to be able to meet a need. And so at the time, my business was meeting the need for emerging artists who maybe didn't have the academia or the experience, but had that raw talent. And so Stage Ready would ultimately do that, get them ready for the stage. And so we would go on and do choreography and casting. We worked with a lot of different gospel artists, and we just kind of grew the business. Probably about maybe 5 years ago, we transitioned from doing so much one-on-one artist things to moving more with corporate clients. And so we provide services for beauty brands and producing their shows, casting their talent, and helping to produce a lot of their digital content. So just wanting to be able to use everything that I have, one, to, you know, create a nice foundation for myself financially, but just always be able to expand. You know, once I do get my big movie deal or my big series regular role, which I'm claiming, then that would allow me to expand my business and create opportunities, and, you know, then start to produce my own film projects and pitch my own television shows and all of those things. So it's always just about having this full vision for yourself. And in a minute, a 30-second elevator pitch, I can tell you exactly what my business does. If you gave me $50 million, what I would do with it, how I would invest it back into our community, you know, just having all those tools ready and sharp and ready to go.
That is awesome. And you know what? It's going to happen because you're in alignment. And I love it. I love it. That's great. So Tina, what do you have coming up next?
You know what? I'm actually in rehearsals now for a project called Beautiful Hair. It's a really wonderful musical film. It's an educational tool that's being shot here in Atlanta in conjunction with City Springs Theater. And it was written by two really creative African-American male writers, but from a musical theater perspective. So when you think about maybe High School Musical, or you think about what we experienced with Jingle Jangle, it's centered around that, but it's around this teen girl who is really preparing to interview for college and trying to identify how she wants to present herself in order to be considered in this really prestigious, you know, academic setting. And the role that I'm portraying is that of the interviewer. And I am leaning into one young woman who is, her a debutante, and we're part of high society, the Black folks that are well off. So then the hair is wavy and it's buttoned up and it's pulled. And then this other young woman is a little more forward thinking, a little more in the space that millennials are now. If we think about the Crown Act, where she's wanting to wear her braids or wear her hair twisted out. And the interviewer is a little more, are we sure that's appropriate for this space? That's not how we, and it's a Black woman, but there's a whole generation. I know my mom's generation, you going into corporate, honey, that hair need to be straight or, it need to be some length to it. Get some stockings on, ain't no big red lipstick, take them red fingernails off, so that's true. A conversation even amongst our own community. And so it's a really great project. I haven't done musical theater in some time, but the right project will bring me back into that space. And so that's what I'm working on right now, as well as a potential Christmas project. That's going to be, in a very condensed time period with some colleagues of mine. So all of that stuff is going on and just constantly auditioning, looking forward to my next opportunity to be on the big screen.
Well, let me tell you something. Your steps are already blessed and ordered.
Thank you.
I have no doubt in my mind that, we're definitely going to continually see your name on the big marquee wherever you go, because you got it. You got it. And we're just so happy to acknowledge you and shine. Well, the light, you come with the light. So the only thing we could do is just partner with your light and show the folks how you're shining, because you're doing it well. And we're just so proud of you and what you're doing. And you're helping others. And that's so, so, so important. So can you tell the audience how we can follow and like you on social media?
Sure. I'm at Tina Fears. That's F as in Frank, EAR, S as in Sam, on all my social media platforms. So that's Instagram, that's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Google. And you can go to tinafears.com. That's my website. And I just want to encourage people to, be fearless in the pursuit of what's setting your soul on fire. I want to thank you, Ms. Terra, for the honor. I have some things I'm going to be providing you with shortly today. But just to be acknowledged it's so fulfilling, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude, because we're in an industry filled with so many no's, and you're not enough, and good, but not good. There's so much of that. And so just to have a moment to be acknowledged where someone says, well done, we enjoyed your work, the community supports you, really means a lot. So thank you so much.
Oh, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. And, we definitely look forward to supporting you any which way that we can. Your production company. If there's a website you want to share about your production company, if someone
everything's under your service. Yes, I'm sorry. Everything's under tinafears.com. And then when you go to tinafears.com, you see Tina, the artist, Tina, Stage Ready owner, and then the Fearless Movement, which is my service entity. So everything's under the Tina Fears umbrella. That
is awesome. And you've already done it. You gave us some inspiration, but can you just leave us with a sentence or two that we can take with us today?
Yeah, I want to encourage just the mindset of perseverance. That is something that let's just make it full circle about how we started the conversation about the process of landing the role of Claire Ward, and in the midst of persevering, also being able to make those big choices. What are those things that will set you apart? How do I move and not go with the herd, and still move forward, but I'm intentional. I am thoughtful. I am genuine and sincere in how I'm moving. So continue to grind, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're trying to accomplish. I remember someone asked me about how do I get my project in front of people? Just do it. Just try it. Even if it's an audience of one, that's better than it being an idea on your computer or something in your mind or a big what if. Press forward, do so with excellence, and see what happens.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Miss Tina, thank you so much for taking out the time, your busy day, to be on the show and sharing your gems and your jewels with the audience. We deeply appreciate you so very much.
Thank you for having me on.
Sure. Well, I don't know where the time went, but they tell me that we have to go. Thank you so much, audience, for listening to Talk with Terra. I am Terra Renee from African American Women in Cinema Organization. You can visit us at www.aawic.org. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Talk with Terra is made possible by Rude Rangers Entertainment. Our creative director is Rudy J. Breedy. Please don't forget to like and share this episode with as many people as possible. We sincerely appreciate you joining us today and wish you continued peace and blessings and prosperity. See you next episode.